Welcome to an episode of Founder in the Chair. Today I'm sitting with an absolutely inspiring woman. Not only did she qualify as a financial advisor while launching her own business, but she also embarked on the incredible journey of adoption. Welcoming a beautiful baby girl into her life, and just when she thought she had her hands full, she had another little surprise in life. She found herself spontaneously pregnant. Her story is one of determination, resilience, and embracing life's unexpected moments. I'm so excited to welcome and dive into her journey, Gurpreet Chahal. Hello.
Thank you. Hi, Veena.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me here.
You're very welcome. Really excited to hear about your journey. So, adoption in the South Asian community, how was that for you?
To be honest, I was actually embarrassed to speak about it.
Okay.
Not because of the fact that I didn't give birth to her, but because of what people would say.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of people like, oh, she's been married for 10 years and she hasn't had a kid yet. Like they showed that pity on you.
Yeah.
So I was actually embarrassed, and believe it or not, the person who actually pushed me to speak openly about it was my mother-in-law.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so
I have to
impressive.
give her that credit because I said, Mum, make sure no one knows this bit or this bit, because then they'll realise, oh, she's adopted and I don't want that.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't care what people say. She goes, and you need to stop that as well.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? Why am I scared? It's nothing to be scared or embarrassed about.
Yeah.
And then my husband Chaz, he was like, because I said, look, I want to go and speak about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, go for it. He's like, I don't care what people say because she's ours.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And you gave a little girl a home.
Yeah.
And it's so sad that in the South Asian community especially, adoption's just so frowned upon.
It is,
and so what if you haven't had a baby for 10 years? Nobody knows the story behind what you're going through.
Yeah.
And it's such an expectation as well that 1 year down the line you should be having a baby, right?
Oh, it's been a year, come on, when's the good news? And it's there's so many words you can say right now, which I won't. But I actually had people would come up to me and hold me from my tummy and be like, is something wrong? Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
At the begining, I actually got married at 20. I had my 21st at my in-laws.
Okay.
And
same as me.
Yeah. And I actually didn't think anything of it to start with, because I was like, I've got plenty of time.
Yeah, yeah.
As I reached 28, I was like, oh no, something's wrong with me. But obviously I had checks done, with the gynecologist and all that, and they were like, oh, the only way you'll fall pregnant is via IVF.
Mm-hmm.
So I put that behind me. I said, no, it will happen. And it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly, we went through years and years and years, and it had come to nearly 10 years of being married. And I think people had actually stopped saying things now, because they're like, if they haven't had a kid by now, or I would have, it's okay.
The sympathy.
Yeah, it's okay. And you know what? It sounds sad that I think when I'm thinking about it now. But when I'd hear, oh, so-and-so's pregnant, I would sit in my room and cry, because I'd be like, the one thing a woman is made to do is to at least give birth. That's how it had got into my head. I think my mental health at that point was quite bad, because I was like, I'm not even doing what I'm made to do. And then, it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Not that it's even meant to be that, it's just the society, the culture we're in, made you feel that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So through that journey, I know you mentioned, people put their hand on your stomach and say, oh, it's okay. And then the sympathy came in. When you started going down the adoption route, how did that start? How did you and your husband think, well, okay, this is what we're going to do?
So I spoke to Chaz and I said, oh, why don't we look into it? And he said, yeah, we will. like, you know, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I think he didn't take me seriously at that point.
Yeah.
Or he didn't think that it would be possible, because it's a big thing. It's a big responsibility. It's just, you know, it's the same as you giving birth to a child.
Yeah.
Whether you adopt or you don't, you know, you've still got responsibility of that child. And I actually had a dream of a baby being passed to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I woke up, I was like, you know, like someone somewhere, something is trying to tell me something. And if I'm not going to take that on board, what's the point of having, like, you know how we say trust your gut instinct, or, you know, oh, that's a sign.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to take that on board, then what's the point?
Yes.
And my Mussy, she always says, if you put it out into the universe, you're going to get what you ask for. So I think I was so fixed on it that I had that dream, and then it took me a couple of days, and I went to my mother-in-law and I said, what do you think about adoption? And she goes, can I tell you something? She goes, I was actually worried to say it to you and how you might feel by me saying it, but me and your dad have been talking about it.
Wow, what a relief that must have been for you.
I'm getting goosebumps right now. But like, literally, when she said that, and I said, right, okay, I think we're going to do it. And I hadn't even spoken to Chaz properly about it, and I was just like, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And she goes, you know what? She goes, we want you guys to start that parenthood journey. So then I spoke to my mum and dad, and they said, look, if your in-laws are on board and you guys are on the same page, we're happy. We're going to support you 100%. And both parents, on, you know, on both sides, if they're with you, then I was just like, we've got the support. Let's do it. So we started. In March, we got the phone call that there's a baby girl, and I said yes straight. I didn't even let them finish. I was like, yep. And they were like, no, but like, I was like, no, it's a yes.
Yeah.
And then I spoke to Chaz. I hadn't even spoken to him about it. I was like, and then I said, Chaz, we've got a baby girl. And he goes, look, I think you're going a bit crazy now. Calm down. We no. Like, and I said, no, there's a girl out there, and she's going to be ours.
Yeah.
And even he like took a step back, and he goes, are you for real? And I said, yeah. So we started the whole process. It was very emotionally draining, to say the least. It was hard, but we got through it. It took us 2 years to bring her home. So we first met her when she was 7 months old.
When you in India?
Yeah, so she was born in India.
Okay.
We first met her at 7 months old, and she was basically just like this little chubby little baby, just like I'll tell you what happened. So as soon as I held her, she put her head on my shoulders. Aww. And it's like as if she cuddled me and said, hi, Mum. Aww. And that was it. That was me. I was like, I've just given birth to a baby girl.
Love that.
Yeah, but it took us 2 years to bring her home.
Oh, and why is that? Is there just a lot of red tape?
I would say, firstly, to answer your question, anyone who is going through the adoption journey, make sure the solicitors you hire know what they're talking about.
Okay.
We actually hired a solicitor to start the adoption process for us, and, you know, get everything done. Everything was submitted.
Yeah.
It took a year for Home Office to give us an answer, and it was a refusal.
Right.
I remember exactly 4th of Jan 2023, they said no. And we had put the application in April, by the end of April 2022, the application had gone in to the Home Office. So when we kind of got the refusal, that solicitor, I'm not going to name anyone, it's not fair. So we kind of broke ties with them, and we said, look, it's not, you haven't done this right. Because obviously when the Home Office give a refusal, you can ask for feedback on why are you refusing. Yeah. And they put on there that the application firstly was incorrect. Right. There was other bits and bobs that they didn't believe to be true. Okay. They believed that she still lived with her biological parents, even though Chaz and I were practically living in India, coming back and forth. Yeah. So then we hired another solicitor, Zishan, forever grateful for him. He knew what he was talking about. Marks and Marks solicitors. And he literally said, he looked at the application, he said, oh gosh, guys, what have you done? And we were like, can you help us? And he said, yeah, I am going to help. He goes, we're going to get her home. And I remember sitting in his office, and we went through everything from the minute we met her to the minute we left from India to come back. Just everything, like literally, even like he dived into the little details that we thought weren't relevant.
Right.
And he goes, that is all relevant, like it all means something.
Yeah.
And so we did an appeal.
Yeah.
So we appealed the Home Office's decision. I remember 9th of November 2023, I'm sat in my bedroom. It was over the, like, you know, like an online court a court hearing.
Yeah.
I remember me and Chaz we're like, oh, make sure, you know, this doesn't like turn off, and make sure the charger's on, and let's test, like, you know, the system that nothing goes wrong, make sure no updates start like in between, because once you lose that slot, you got to wait a certain amount of time for another one.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I saw a female judge walking in, and she sat down, and I said, oh, thank God, because she'll understand me, right?
Yeah.
She's a woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I no disrespect to men, but I was like, a man wouldn't understand like what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was pregnant.
Okay.
And the Home Office, the person that was standing for the Home Office, he said to me, because you're pregnant. You've got what you wanted, so why do you want to bring her here? I said, because she's my firstborn. I literally said it like that. Like the sass on me that day. And Chaz was going like this to me, like, stop being rude. And they were like, can you stop speaking, sir? Because it was me who they wanted to speak to.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, she is my firstborn. And then he and I said, let me ask you a question. And he goes, he's just looking, and the judge, you could see everyone's faces, and they're all like, okay, what's she gonna say? And Zishan's like, because he had told me, just behave, like, don't over talk, or don't over say something that you don't need to say.
Yeah.
And I said, if you or your wife, when your wife or your partner, you had one child and then you had another child, would you disown the first child? And he didn't know what to say. He didn't answer me. And then the judge kind of stepped in, because I was getting so worked up, because not only that person had asked me, I had family members saying to me, you're pregnant, leave the adoption, like, why are you wasting your time and money?
God.
And I was like, no, it doesn't work like that. You don't disown your first child to give birth to your second.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, it was crazy. It was like, there's so many stories. There was ups, there was downs.
So what happened in that hearing then? What was the conclusion that day?
So they don't tell you straight away.
Okay.
So she said, she goes, it usually takes around 2 weeks. She goes, but I'm going to try and get back to you as soon as possible, because the hearing, after the hearing on the 12th, we were flying out to India to go to Barney. And it was also my sister's wedding at the end of November.
Okay.
So we thought, right, okay, we'll go to her first, and, you know, just spend time with her, and then we can go to, like, you know, like the wedding and whatnot. And the judge actually responded within 6 days, and the answer was yes.
Brilliant.
She said, literally, like, I'll just, so, okay, this is how it happened. Sorry, I'm just getting excited, because that was the most happiest time.
Yeah.
We were sat in a restaurant in Ludhiana, which is where we did Barney's adoption ceremony.
Okay.
So according to Indian law, because we had to follow British law and Indian law. Right. So part of the adoption ceremony part of the adoption from India, because that was her residential country at the time, we had to do a ceremony where you give out sweets and, like, you know, like mithai and all that kind of stuff. And we had just like a selected number of, like, family members that had come. Anyway, we went back on, like, just before my sister's wedding, and we were sat there, and my phone was with Chaz, and I was getting all, like, uneasy, like, you know, when you just feel like something's going to happen, but you don't know, is it good or is it bad? And I said, Chaz, pass my phone. And I saw that Zishan had messaged. I kid you not, I held the phone like that and I was looking from the side when I was opening it, just not fully opening the message, but you know how you can open it on the home screen?
Yeah, preview it.
Yeah, and I was just like, because I was like scared, is it going to be bad news again? Like, come on, please, this time, just God, make it work.
Yeah.
And I opened, I saw congratulations, I dropped my phone. And I was like, oh my God. And I picked it up and everyone's staring at me at this point.
Yeah.
And Chaz had got up like this and he's like, what happened? He thought my waters had broken. I was like, Chaz, not this early. But anyway, I opened it and it said, congratulations, the judge has appealed in our favour. Oh my God. I literally grabbed Barney and I hugged her. I said, Barney, you're coming home. And she went, home? Like that. Because she was talking.
Yeah.
But she was predominantly speaking Punjabi at that point. And I said, look, you're coming home. And my mum came over to me and she gave me the biggest hug. And I was like, Mum, like visa lag gaya, like we're going to take her home. And she hugged me. And I literally, you know, like that tension you have. And I just dropped like this in her arms and she just held me. And my masi were there because obviously all the family were getting together to start, like, you know, start wedding preps and stuff. And yeah, and like they just came over and my Masi said, she goes, the letter worked, didn't it, to the universe? And I said, Masi, it did. And straight away called my mother-in-law. I was like, Mum, she's coming home. And my mother, she burst out in tears.
Aww. And
she was like, Rash. So my father-in-law's name's Rishbal.
Yeah.
And she's like, Rash, they're coming home. And you know what, like, I felt what I felt, but like to me in that point I was like, I'm giving everyone this, like, not me, but like Barney's giving everyone this happiness already. Like she's this miracle that we've always wanted. And I was like, look how much happiness you've just given to everyone. Obviously knowing that she would come home at some point, we would fight. Even if it was a no at that point, we would fight again. But and then they were like, oh, you have to wait for 28 days for the Home Office to decide, you know, if they want to appeal the judge's decision.
Oh, God.
And I was like, please. So that was in November.
Right.
And she didn't come home till 4 months later because of all the, like, the Home Office's, like, you know, what they have to do.
Their
and
process.
Yeah, and like, yeah, so we just had to wait until... So I actually gave birth to Kabir in February. And Chaz was in India at the time with Barney because we couldn't leave her at that point. She was too old, not old, but like she was too wise at that point to know like what's going on. Like she was like, she would cry like if we had left her and come back to the UK because of like visa issues or whatever. She would get upset. She even got ill at one point. I had to return within 5 days of coming back home. But she, at that point, she was staying with my mum's. So how do I explain this? My mum's bua.
So your
aunt. My nanny.
Okay.
My nan, yeah.
Oh, your nan.
So my Nanna Ji's real sister.
Right.
So we say nanny to her as well.
Okay.
And my Mamma Ji and Mammi Ji. Mamasi Masr. That whole family, the way they supported us throughout the 2 years.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even till today, she's got such a strong relationship with them.
Love
and
that.
she would. You're like, why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah.
And like I even said, I was like, because of Barney, we connected as well. Whereas before it would just be if we go India, we'll go see them for a couple of days and then that's it. And then we don't talk.
Yeah.
But now it's every day. How are you? Like, oh, send us a picture of Barney, send us a picture of Kabir and stuff. So like she connected so much. She brought you all together. Like you said, the miracle baby. Yeah.
I love it. So your business is named after her?
Yeah, Barney's London.
So tell us about Barney's London. How did that come about?
Oh, so again, with Barney.
Yeah.
She's a fashion queen. Literally. So like at the age of 2, in India, like, you know, when you go to like the malls and stuff, you get like a little step and then the mannequins on there.
Yeah.
She would go and stand there and she'd like copy them and she'd like do all the like however the mannequins placed. Yeah. She'd stand there, even till today. Went Asda the other day and she went, Mum, look. she just freezes in like a pose.
Yeah.
But it actually all started when I designed an outfit for Barney to match mine.
Mm-hmm.
And she loved it because
Right.
it was full of like embroidery.
Yeah.
I made a dhoti salwar
Yeah.
to go like exactly like mine. She had the same chunni, everything, and she was, the way she was strutting that suit.
Yeah.
She was like she asked for the makeup. It's because we did a photo shoot in India when I first launched Barney's London.
Right.
And she asked the makeup artist. She went, she didn't know what it was, so she was
Yeah.
like, okay, put my lipstick on.
Yeah.
So the lady put the lipstick on for her, and she got a bindi put on. She had a hair curl. She only had like little short bouncy curls.
Yeah.
And like she had it pinned back and everything.
Aw.
I've got a video of her like dancing, like walking like that towards the camera and stuff.
Yeah.
But it again started with her.
I love that. So you started this whole business with her name
Yep.
on the back of just designing an outfit to match.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were going to match her or she was going to match you?
Well, I think I was going to match her. I actually just saw the outfit and she went, wow, like that. And that was her favourite thing at that time. Wow.
Yeah.
Everything was wow.
Yeah.
But now, at the age of 3, well, she's just turned 4.
Yeah.
We went into Superdrugs the other day. You know where the makeup aisle is?
Mm.
She's like, Mama, that is incredible.
Oh.
And I was like, where are you getting these words from? Like, she's just growing up so fast. But yeah, I matched her, I would say.
I love that.
But yeah, she loves dressing up. Anything flowy. Now she's into like, oh, I don't want to wear a suit. I want to wear a skirt, and I want this to be on my top, and I want this, and I want that. She chose 2 outfits just the other day when we went shopping, and I'm like, okay, Barney, that's enough. Just one more, please. Just one more.
Oh.
But yeah, she loves dressing up.
I love that. So how is Barney's going? Like,
It's
because you're a
good.
financial advisor, a
Yeah.
mum to 2 children,
Yeah.
and you have Barney's, which is
Yeah.
a clothing brand.
Yeah.
How do you do it all?
You know what? You have to do it. If you've got a goal and you've got a vision and you know that's where you want to be,
Mm.
you will one way or another make it work.
Mm.
And I feel like I've got a lot of support from family members as well,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's on my in-law side, whether it's on like my maternal side. Like everyone is helping, everyone is there.
Mhm.
When we've done like pop-ups and exhibitions, I'm sure you've seen all the girls, like my sisters
Yeah.
are all with me,
Yeah.
and they're helping. They help pack up, they help set up, they help me label when the outfits come, iron, label, just
Yeah.
get everything ready. Like I've got the support, which I'm very, very grateful for.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to have that because I know not everyone has such support.
Mm.
But I believe that if you've got a vision, you've got a goal, like to me, I want to push through. Like I've just qualified as a financial advisor. I've got Barney's. We opened a showroom in February
Yeah.
in Hitchin.
Uh-huh.
So to me, I just want something that I know my kids can fall back on in the
Mhm.
future.
Mhm.
Something that they can say, oh, look, this is what our mum and dad kind of set up for us.
Yeah.
And Barney says she'll be like, Mama, I want to go to my office. Sometimes I'm dropping her to school and she's like, no, I've got work to do. I need to go to the office. And I'm like, what office? She goes, Barney's London. Like, or even if she wears a suit and she'll be like, this Barney's London.
That is so cute.
She'll just promote it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, she's a businesswoman from the beginning.
Yeah. The entrepreneur of tomorrow.
So I just feel like you somehow make it work.
Mm. Yeah.
It all falls into place.
So what made you go from doing pop-ups, doing it at home, to having a showroom? What was that stepping stone like?
I was nervous because obviously when you have like a set location, it's like, how do you drive the business in? Whereas when you're doing a pop-up, it's up to the organizer to drive
Yeah.
that business in, and then obviously you take it from there, right?
Yeah.
So when I had a think about it, and it was actually Chaz who said, you need to find something like a spot. We didn't think of it as a showroom or anything like that. He just said, like, you need somewhere that you can store all your stuff.
Yeah.
Or even if someone wants to come and see the stuff, like
Yeah.
you can be like, yeah, sure, come in,
Yeah.
and it's ready. Like
It's nicely displayed.
Exactly. And then so the building that I work in, so I work with a financial advisor at the moment. The building that I work in, there was an office in there that was basically empty, and I said how much, and I negotiated the price a little bit because we're Indian, right? Even he was like, oh god, and he's like, you know what, because you guys got 2 other offices, I'll have a think about it. So he came back, he gave me a really good offer, and I was like, you know what, I'll be silly not to go for it. And in that area we don't actually have anything that is kind of what I'm doing. So in the showroom you'll see things like you can hire a juggle, you can hire like the whole maya set, you can buy it. I do like bindi books, I do some jewelry, I do so obviously the outfits. Like now what I'm doing coming up for like summer, you'll see quite a lot of like co-ord sets. I think I'm lucky that in that area there's not actually anything like that. So I thought, right, you know what, let's go for it. Worst comes to worst, you go back to doing pop-ups, or you just store your stuff and show as and when needed, kind of thing. I was like, but if I'm going to do this, I've got to make sure that I carry it on. Because can you imagine, like, you open something and then you close it and people are like, oh, Jalani, see, like, it didn't work for her. And they get the kick out. I'm not going to let anyone get the kick out of it. It's going to work. But there's no option not to work. You know, and don't call us boss women for no reason. But like,
love that.
Yeah, like, I just feel like as a woman, come on, if we've got the power to like run our family and work, then why not also do something for ourselves as well? Like when I'm in the showroom, I can't explain like the happiness that I feel like just being there. And just like knowing, wow, this is something like
I built.
Yeah.
Pride.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
And I'm not going to say I did it alone. I didn't do it alone. Chaz has pushed me to do something from like when we first got married. There was always something that I was trying to do. And this has actually been something that I've been able to take to the next level. So like he's pushed me a lot. He's helped me through like a lot of the obstacles. He even says, like, when I say, oh, you know, when I first started, I said, oh, I need someone to invest. And like if I say to him, oh, Chaz, give me some money, like I'm going shopping, he'd be like, I've got to take out the black book and write it down. He literally says that, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. Like, I don't know, it's just, I think he's helped me along the way a lot. And obviously, like, I think the whole journey with Barney wouldn't be possible without him.
No, and then look at, you've named the whole business after her. It's her office.
I've even thought about, it's like, oh, Kabir's going to feel left out. Maybe I should do like a menswear and name it Kabir.
Well, you never know. That could be your next side hustle. So what advice would you give to other women who want to start a business while managing a family?
I think I'll go back to like what we just spoke about. I think throughout a woman's life, we start off as daughters, we're sisters, we're mums, we're wives, but that's all to someone else, right? I think like when I started Barney's, I felt like that's kind of like that's me. People are starting to, oh, are you Gurpreet from Barney's?
Or do they call you Barney sometimes?
I get called Barney. I get called Barney a lot. And I'm like, no, my name's Gurpreet. And then they're just like, oh, Barney. I'm like, okay, cool.
It's fine. I'll go by that.
Yeah, it's fine. But like, I just feel like, you know, if you're managing, if you think, oh, would I be able to manage? You're going wrong. Because again, we're boss women. You will manage it. You will make it work. If you've got a goal and you've got a vision and you know this is where I want to be, like, I think I manifested a showroom so much that I'm blessed that it actually kind of it's there.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. I'm getting, like, I do it on appointment basis.
Yeah.
So, you know, even like Barney's there sometimes with me and she's telling people, oh no, get this one. This one's nice. She matched someone's outfit with a statement dupatta the other day. Wow. And I'm like, oh no, that's not going to work. And she goes, that looks beautiful. And the lady bought it and she was like, you know what? It actually does look good. She goes, the whole point is that it needs to stand out, right?
Yeah.
She wore it, sent me a photo and it actually looked really good. I was like, Barney, do you want to be here full time?
Do you know you said you didn't want to go to school? Well, you're coming to the office.
Well, this is where you start work. But yeah, I feel like it sets like sets you up for the future. Like I've seen, my dad's a homeopathic doctor, and since I can remember, I've seen him working and like, you know, like helping people, healing people, whether it is through medication or through meditation or anything. Like I've seen him do something. And like my mum was always, well, since we were born, she's been a homemaker, and even that, it's not an easy job.
No, people underestimate what a homemaker does.
They underestimate it so much. But like she would say, like she started a side business at home, and she had started selling suits and all that stuff, and then it got so busy, she's like, can't
do it anymore.
Mom, no, do it. But she was always like, oh, but I've got to do the roti and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. So I feel like that pushed me as well to keep pushing through. Like, because even if your
mum had continued,
maybe she could have named it after us.
It would have been called Gurpreet.
But yeah, like
I love that. So just keep pushing through.
Keep pushing.
And after all of this, so you're now a financial advisor, you're running Barney's, 2 children, husband, live with your in-laws.
Yep.
Any top tip for a woman who's listening? How do you juggle everything? Do you have a to-do list? Do you have an app that you use? What's the top tip for somebody listening?
Mine's the old-fashioned way. I don't use no to-do list. I've tried.
Yeah.
It don't work.
Okay.
I write a shopping list and I forget it at home. And I'm standing there like, oh, I think I wrote that. I'll get this. I'll get this.
Yeah.
For me personally, like if it works for you, then yes, do it. But on my kitchen wall, I've got the whole, you know, what I'm making on a Monday, what's for dinner. But didn't work.
That didn't work either.
Not for me.
No planners.
No, mine's the old-fashioned way. It's the day before, I'll know, okay, tomorrow I've got to do this. My husband's actually just got me writing in the calendar, and we've shared calendars. Yeah. And he's like, and I say, but on the 7th, for example, we're meant to go here, and he's like, did you put it in the calendar? And I was like, and then he goes, I'm not doing it because you're not using the calendar. I was like, I can't sit there and just write on the 7th we're doing this and on the 8th we're doing it. Didn't work for me, but like I'm trying and it does help. But I feel like, you know, when you know in your head, like I've got to get through this, I need to do this. I feel like that just works for me better. So like if I'm going through a list and I'm ticking off, that don't work for me.
So what works?
I just got it in my head.
Just in your head.
It's in my head. I'm not going to lie.
It's all in your head.
I'm not going to say, yes, I've got a Filofax and I tick off every time I've done my task. I know. It doesn't. It's in my head. Like I'm just like, okay, yeah, this, I've got to do this. I'm ticking it off in my head. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, yep, it's all done.
Well done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive.
I'll be lying if I was saying, you know, I follow a strict, you know, I've got a routine and I tick off every time. I'll be lying. I don't. It doesn't work for me. It's just in my head that I know, okay, I've got to do this and I do it.
What's the vision, the future vision for Barney's?
I want, so at the moment it's a showroom, appointment based. I do want it to be a big brand one day. But I'm still at the same time content with what I've got because I feel like where I am, not that I didn't believe I would get there, but it's a big thing for me to like, from where I was, I don't know, let's say 5 years back, I didn't even think I would have 2 children. I didn't think I would have qualified as a financial advisor whilst pregnant.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's when you did it.
I actually did my exam when Gurpreet was about 5 months old.
Okay.
And then, I don't know. Like it's just, I didn't think I would be here, so I'm content at the moment. But in the future, obviously, you want to be bigger, you want to be better. I want to leave a legacy for my kids. I want them to know that their mum and dad worked hard to build something for them. Obviously, I don't want them to think, oh yeah, we've got it all, like we don't need to work. I'm going to make sure they work. But they also to know that they've got something to fall back on. Yeah. So yeah, like even like with the financial advice side, I want to, like, I'm still learning the ropes, like, you know, in the practical world. It's just, I think within the next year I'll know where I stand, what side I want to grow. Because obviously, you know, when you put your fingers in too many pies, you're going to burn yourself. So I think I'm still at that stage where, like, I would never close Barney's. I would never, like, say, oh, you know what, let's call it a day. I know that for a fact. I would never do that because it's got my girl's name on it.
It means too much to you.
It's too much.
And
I know she would probably be like, you know what, like, even when I come down today, she goes, Mama, I love what you're wearing. Oh my God, your heels. And I was like, yeah, you don't see me in heels much, do you? And she's like, I like your hair. Like, even when I'm doing my makeup, she'll sit there and she'll be like, I'm doing my makeup. Like, she's got that sass, and I know she's got that drive. And you know what? It'd probably be her who grows Barney's. It probably will be her.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing all this. I'm really, really honoured to speak to you. And let's see what happens in a year's time. No doubt we might have you back on again. You can tell us what you're doing. Part 2. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Founder in the Chair. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, share and like wherever you are watching or listening. Thank you.
Thanks.